This is how you do a 5-minute makeup routine. First of all you need in your life is some good Shape Tape, just concealer.
Oh, wait, it's not focusing. Oh, wait.
There we go. To make your eyes look brighter. So literally, I have a little bit of makeup on already, so this is gonna kind of defeat the purpose, but I'm just gonna show you just like, if you had to run, if you had to get somewhere really fast, you just do like a little bit, you know, here. I just got that in my nose. There, and then like a little bit here. You gotta like, you know, get your red spots.
Okay.
Like you don't have all day, so you know you gotta like hurry up. Like your man's like coming to your house in like 5 minutes and he asks if you're already ready and you're not ready. So you know, you just like do this little guy. Typically I do the powder, but I don't want to make a mess, and it's kind of already a mess. So the next thing is you gotta have some good bronzer.
Ooh, nice.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't really know my products. My sister watches YouTube videos and I figure out her products. So this is good bronzer. So you know, you just give yourself a little tan, make yourself look like you went to an island. You really didn't. And the next thing is, you know, you gotta have some cheek cream.
Oh gosh, okay.
Literally, I'm sure that the makeup people are cringing right now to see this. Okay, so then, you know, you put on a little bit of blush.
Nice. Okay, I think you have 2 minutes left.
Oh, 2 minutes?
Okay.
Oh, shoot, okay. So, like, he's coming to the door. Okay, then you have your highlight. Literally, just, you know, coat where it's necessary. And then, you know, of course, I have eyebrows on a little bit already, but you just, like, you know, touch up the eyebrows, like, fill in the holes, anything that you need to get filled in, because, you know, don't want people looking into the gapes of your soul, aka your eyebrow holes. Okay, so then, you know, get your eyebrows going. Okay. And then, okay, this thing that I just recently discovered.
1 minute.
This is gonna...
Oh gosh, he's coming through the door soon.
He's coming through the door soon. Okay, this stuff is called Glow Wand. So if you take like a little bit of this and literally just go under your eyes with it, it like makes you look like you've had like lots of sleep, like 12 hours of sleep. Okay.
Nice.
So it just adds.
I need to get some of that.
Glow, honestly, you do. Under your eyes. That's that. We've already done all of this stuff. Then you just add your mascara.
Boom.
Hurry up.
Okay, he's parking.
Okay.
Okay, don't poke yourself.
And
boom. Ooh,
voila.
fab.
Any,
yes, there it is.
like,
boom.
Look, I look awake. I slept. It's been here all week.
Yes, love it. Great job. And that's how you do your makeup in 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Boom.
That's it. Like, you're not like, you know, your face isn't beat, but you know, you've got the essentials.
Love it. All right, you guys, welcome to our friend vlog. Are you ready?
Yes.
Let's do it.
It's Danielle J. Martin. Don't forget the J. Here we go. And 3, 2, 1.
Okay, here we go. Sorry.
Was that serious?
Yeah. I'm just kidding. I do think you bring out the silliness in me.
That's good.
I think it's a beautiful thing.
Be yourself, baby girl.
So, the thing about setting up here is you gotta plug in all of the switches.
For real?
And all of the plugs that we have going on here. This is very still under. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Cut that.
We're very under construction still, but I would say, look, I got this new clock. Check it out.
Wow.
So when I have, I should check this man out. Anyways, so when I have TV shows, I can see how much time I have, because that's very important.
This lipstick is giving.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, you're giving close. Very Maybelline stay. Long lasting.
Long lasting. Maybelline sponsor us. Just kidding. Okay. So I'm going to turn on all the lights.
You're not kidding. If we could get a sponsorship, we'll take it.
Right, we'll take it. And so I do a 3 camera setup. So basically what that means is I will have one camera on one person and then another camera on another. Now I don't have 3 cameras just yet, but when I do, it'll be cool. In the meantime, I typically just use my phone, which, you know, it works. So each person gets their own light. So I'll have a guest there, and then this is the magic. Ready?
Magic. Oh.
Ooh. I know what song you're wanting. Are you ready?
I hope you're right.
Oh gosh, I'm nervous. Okay, come on, Ab.
Like, right, we're waiting. This sounds like some worship. She read me wrong. I'm just kidding.
Okay. We're gonna get ready now.
Amen. This is on point because I'm not listening to secular music right now.
Oh, really? Okay.
Otherwise, I would have been like, what is this?
I love this. Okay. So are you ready?
In the pressing.
You are me.
This is the pressing. She's in the olive press right now.
Wait, what?
You don't understand. They'll understand. The viewers will get it.
Oh, okay.
You're being crushed. This is the pressing.
Yes.
Setting up, doing all the behind the scenes things. Not always being the one behind the lens,
Right?
but sometimes it's the prep.
Okay, so we're doing something different today. So, yeah. First of all, this is our friend vlog.
Friend blog.
Jesus, I'm tired. I need to go to sleep. And yeah, we're just gonna be talking about a bunch of different things. So I've invited Michaela onto this video channel. Be blessed.
Privileged. It's an honor to be here.
And yeah, we're just gonna have fun and talk about different things. And so what I really wanted to do was, first of all, explain like who you are and what makes friendships so important. I think we just had like a full extensive conversation.
We did.
Just before
We just
this.
dove in deep.
So we're probably like talked out. So this is gonna be
never
so
talked
relaxed.
out. No, just kidding.
So relaxed. But yeah, this is our friend vlog. Okay.
Yes. Would you ask me?
So
who
what's
am
your
I?
name? What do you do?
My name's Michaela, and I'm a star. No. Yeah, I'm in my last semester of law school.
Yeah.
And I'm working for a firm in Kansas City. They do criminal defense work, so that's what I'll do, at least for a while.
Yeah.
And that's me. I love God and I love people, and I do love the local church, so I try to spend as much time giving into that with my time, my talent, and my money, because I just love the local church. But friendship is very important to me. And for me with friendship, like I really enjoy connection. Like we were just talking about this, about like having a lot of friends. And I was thinking about this because Danielle has a lot of friends. You're all watching this right now and you're like, who is she? She's made another friend.
Oh my God.
Because she has that many friends. And honestly, the skeptic that I am, I was like, this girl's got too many friends. Like, we're not the same. We're not the same.
Yeah. We were
But
skeptical with
we
each other
were.
for a while.
We
you
were.
know, like we would tiptoe around each other, like, hey girl, let's
Yeah.
hang out. Let's hang out for like a
Yeah.
year.
And then this girl just had so many friends. friends that she never had time to actually hang out. So we've
kidding.
forgiven her. No,
We've forgiven her.
We're walking through that. But I really honestly only have like a small group of friends.
Yeah.
Like I can probably count on maybe 2 hands, like how many friends that I have. And that's because like friendship for me is like really deep. Everyone else I would just say is honestly probably like an acquaintance. Like if we don't have depth conversations, then like we ain't friends.
Right.
But I love you.
Yeah.
Like Christ loves the church.
Oh my gosh. So I just like, I said, Michaela, I think that we should do a video about friendships because, you know, me being in this space of like being very intentional of all of the areas in my life, like friendships is one of them. And to be honest, I've had a very hard time in that area. And so I thought, you know, I think a lot of women have had hard times in that area. So I was like, let's just talk about it.
Yeah.
And make that the video.
Yeah.
You know, like that is, and it doesn't have to be a podcast. It's just like,
it's just a video.
It's just a conversation. Vlog. And so, but I do want to talk about first how we became friends, because like now she's in the circle.
Friends. Yeah. Because I would have just said like she's an acquaintance. Like I would walk past this girl on the treadmill and be like,
yeah, she would. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I'd be like, just keep walking, just keep walking.
That's so sad. Would you really? You probably would.
Probably,
it's okay.
Just a little bit. Because it wasn't
It was just that we were gonna have to do the awkward, like
the awkward, hey. And sometimes you have those interactions with people, like the small talk. And sometimes you don't want to have those small talk conversations. So you're like, let me just put my head down and keep walking. You know?
That makes sense.
So we would like tiptoe around each other for like a year. And then we made a date one time.
Yeah, we did.
She
was like, put it on your calendar. Girl sent me a Google invite, told me where I needed to show up. She's a wild friend, but I was like, you know, like I'll take this and I'll put it on my calendar. And then she texted me, and honestly, like life was really busy for me at the time.
Okay, I was about to say, so, like, don't even try to play me.
I forgot what you had going on, but you were just like, basically, I've overbooked and like I can't make it. And I was just like,
she was like, strike one.
No, really. I mean, I wasn't upset because honestly, like at this age of life, like when you just don't have, where you have so much going on, you're just like, oh, like when someone cancels a plan, like you're a little bit relieved.
Right.
Because you're like, oh, like I get to like be at home tonight or like watch TV or, you know. So yeah, that was your strike one. And then honestly, I didn't think you were going to follow up.
Well, honestly, though, it was on both parts because the day of...
Let the record reflect.
Because, you know, the day of when you have to meet someone and then nobody follows up, it's like, oh. And I really forgot.
Oh, that's true. It canceled and then I didn't follow up at all.
Yeah, like nobody followed up. So
and
I think it was
because
both
I was
parts.
Like...
She was already out the door. So then I think months went by again. And then we said, okay, let's try this one more time.
Yeah. And then we did. And I don't know, we just like finally made it work. I was like, you know, I'm going to give this girl a shot. I was getting anxious about it all day. No, but really I was like, I don't know, like what to expect from this. Like, you know, she's already canceled on me once. I don't really like to take a risk like in friendships. And yeah, I was just like, I'll show up. We'll see what happens. And it was literally a match made in heaven. No, I'm just kidding. But we started talking probably within like the first 10 minutes, maybe.
Yeah.
It just felt like something clicked and it was just like, I think we can be friends.
Oh, something clicked?
And I was just like, maybe something clicked. And I was just like, wow, maybe like I can trust her.
Yeah. I do think
something really did happen in that moment.
I do think that as well. And I think that sorry.
She's trying to work out of her feelings.
Yeah, we're working on that. Okay. But I do think that sometimes you can like meet like women or people and you can have a very strong soul connection. And you don't have to be friends for like 10 plus years or 5+ years because like that's what the norm is. Like I really do think that you can come in alignment with someone and be like, oh, I feel seen.
Yeah.
I feel like I met me.
Yeah.
And that's what I told you.
It was really like a magical moment. And like you don't have those very often. And so when they do happen, you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you have to like soak it in.
Like, oh man, what have we done here? It was like, I think I love you. And so we literally, it was so funny. It really felt like a first date. And we were just like, we didn't even order our food yet. We were just like, continued talking, which like, honestly, if my love life looked like this, like, you know, we would head somewhere quick.
Like, where are you at?
Right. Like, instead, it's like awkwardly looking at the dating or at the menu, like, let this end. But we literally just like talked for forever, ate our food, and then it was funny. I think I was like, are we taking this date further? Like, you know, like either you're like, let's go home, or
let's continue.
Yeah, let's continue.
And I think I appreciated the fact that you were like, hey, let's go somewhere else, because you're right. Like sometimes like the first date of a friendship, like you could just like, that's it, you're done. But sometimes you just can't force it because you can feel it. Like, all right, girl, see you later.
See ya.
And then, but we felt like, no, let's keep talking. And I think I'm glad we did, because the place was a lot quieter and it was a lot more intimate, and I feel like we could just relate on a different level. Yeah. And I think for me, we
peeled back like another layer of the onion.
Yeah. I feel like for me, it was just like, I keep saying it, I just felt seen. Yeah. You know, like I felt like my soul was exposed, and I felt so understood. Yeah. That it was as if the tunnel I was in, like the light came on.
That is so beautiful. No, for real. That's like, I mean, as a friend, as someone who's able to like give that to someone, and then as someone who has received that, it's like, it's just as like a breath of fresh air. Yeah. Where you're just like, I've been like struggling, like barely had to get above the water, and like finally to find something that is exposing the light on like what I need to is just like amazing. And for myself, it was like, I typically, like, she doesn't know the Enneagram. So for those of you who are watching who do know, as an Enneagram 8, I'm going to send her to the test so we can diagnose her. I'm just kidding. Gosh. But as an Enneagram 8, which is like basically this person who is very strong and like a leader and driven, our thing is like armor. And so like we show up to situations, to settings, like with our full armor on. Yeah. And it's like a decision, like, am I going to take this armor off? Like, am I going to either guard myself during this conversation and like only give you, like, I'll give you some vulnerability, but I'm not going to give you like me. Right. Like I'm going to give you enough to make you feel good about yourself. Right. But not enough that I'm exposed. And it was just so crazy, because when we were just like sitting there, I was like, wow, I don't need my armor here. Wow. And it is not every day that you feel that. And literally it's only happened to me twice in my life. Yeah. Where I was like, dang, like she sees me, and like I think I'm okay with it. And and we literally talked for hours. On hours. And it was, I don't know, I just think it's also important to share that it's like, you can't do this with everyone. Yeah. Because I honestly believe like energy is real. Oh, for sure. You can't force it. We could not have forced, like, it would have been awkward. I mean, if we would have tried to linger in a space and we didn't really like each other for 3 hours. It was quiet in there too. We were like the only ones in the little setting. Yeah. So it reminds me of like this video that recently like Pastor Tim Ross, well, I don't know if he's a pastor. Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, he was a pastor. He was a pastor. And so like he recently posted this video. Make sure you tag that. Yes, the basement. And him and this guy, I forgot his name, but it was a recent video. I think it was like 2 hours long. The guy was white. And they're just sitting there like kindling their friendship, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is exactly how I feel with Michaela, and it feels so weird to say that out loud, but like these feelings are real. And it's, again, like the last 6 months of my life, I feel like we're very in a clouded area, you know, like I was kind of in this long transition, and it was as if like I didn't see like the sun come anytime. It was like, I don't see the end of this tunnel. Like, you know, just operating in this like small cloud. And then to meet someone first of the year, well, not to meet someone, but to finally have like that first like date with you, was like, oh wow, like I feel seen, I feel sparked, like I feel like ready to, revived a little bit. Yeah definitely to run again. To run again. So it's like, we just encourage you to, you know, if you're ever feeling like that person you're trying to avoid, like just
test it out.
Yeah.
You just never know.
That is like really good advice. I think for like just when you're in your 20s, like you just, I don't know, you're like prejudging everything. Yeah. And if you're not like that, then I don't know, there's probably someone maybe that you could like reach out to that's like someone that you just kind of are indifferent about. Some people you just really don't like, so don't hit them up.
Don't hit them up.
But I think also just how divine God is, because I don't know, like, yes, we were both in our own things before, and like we would see each other like in passing.
Yes, in passing.
And I think like I would admire you from afar, but I was just like, I'm okay.
Yeah. Same here.
And I had other friendships going on, and probably not some of like the most healthy friendships, but like I was entertaining those things still. And so it's cool that like I would pray that the Lord would send me like a good friend. And I don't even know if I'd pray for friends or just like a good friend. Like I could really use a good friend in this season of adulting, in this season of transition, in this season of just doing new things. And then someone who's like doing what I'm doing, of just like wanting more from life, wanting to go like, and I guess like build a career, someone who's career driven. Like I have a really good friend, my best friend from college. She is like, she wants to be a mom, and that's her goal in life. And I love that for her. And I'm like, I support you, but I'm like, I do not like, I want children, but I do not want to be like a mom as my title. And so then to just have that with you of like this like adulting, like, wow, we both like want to just like keep running as hard as we can until like we can see all of the dreams.
Right. There's like no stopping point. Like there's no like, once I hit this, I'm good. It's like no like the journey continues. You know, like there's no like one stop shop here. Like we are going to be on this train for a while. And like we said to each other like, oh, we're going to be growing old together. Yeah.
What did I ask you the other day? I said, are you excited to have gray hair? Or like, what are you planning on doing with your gray hair? And she just looked at me like I was crazy. And I don't know. I was just like already envisioning like us as old friends. And she like got sad because she thought it meant like being old. But I was just like,
because I was feeling
for me though, I was just like, wow, like, we're going to be old friends. And that's like so fun. I don't know. That's where I felt.
So the sad part was that, well, not sad part, but because I'm getting used to it. So we like sparked this new friendship, and where I live is like an hour away where Michaela lives right now.
Yeah, I just moved.
And so it was literally like you were dating a guy where.
Yeah, and then he's like, I'm leaving tomorrow. Unfortunately, this has happened to me before.
We just started dating, and I just felt like my heart like sink a little bit when I knew you were leaving. And so I remember the next literally like 3 to 4 days we like hung out
as much as we could.
Yeah,
we were obsessed. Which is like every good relationship where you're just like so excited about something new. Yeah. Which has been so funny because me and Danielle have been like just enjoying all of the butterflies that come with like a new relationship. Yeah. My girl sends me text messages that really will have me like,
oh my God.
She's like, I want to give you the world.
Right.
Who is she like, talking to?
You shouldn't have to say like no homo. Like, I just think like as you get older, your partner in your marriage, like that is always going to be its own category.
It's its own thing.
It's its own thing. But like your girlfriends and your friendships, like that, oh my gosh, like please be intentional about that. And I feel like ever since I have focused my eye on it, because you're right, I don't disagree with you. I do have a lot of friends, and I do think that I call people friends that are really not my friend. Oh, and
that's crazy.
Yeah, like that's a real thing. And I think I'm just trying to grow out of this space. And many people might be dealing with this, which is why I'm sharing it. So you might feel the need to hold on to friendships because of the years of time you've known them.
Woo, I've been there.
Yeah. And so, or just the fear of being disliked, the fear of wanting to be needed. And so I just think that if you're feeling those things, like that's not a healthy space to try to grow a friendship. Like you said earlier, is there a connection there? Is there, like, what would you say is needed for you in a friendship? Because it's different for everyone. Yeah. But like, what are your needs?
My 3 C's. I need clarity. I need consistency.
Ooh.
And I need consideration.
That's good.
And the consideration part, I think, is huge. And we were talking about this, like, to find a friend who is also considering you as you consider them. And for myself, I can, like, even as hard as my exterior can sometimes be, my heart is super soft. And so it's like, I can constantly be considering somebody and, like, wanting to do well for them and, like, wanting to get them gifts and wanting to, like, be there, just pour into them and, like, hear what they're going through and, like, help them. But I think, like, it's so important to have a relationship that is also giving in return.
Yeah.
And literally our friendship, I was just like so blessed by it because
it's so fluent.
In our, like, it was like we didn't really have to try. I didn't have to, like, communicate to you that, like, if I'm in a long meeting, like, if you bring me a cup of coffee, like, you're gonna warm the entirety of my soul. Literally, girl walked through the door. This is like,
oh my gosh,
day 2 of hanging out.
Yeah.
And
maybe
she
like
like
day 3. I don't know.
Day 3.
Probably.
And she walked in with a cup of coffee for me. And I didn't know if it was for me or not. And then when she told me it was for me, I was like, oh my God, I really do love you. Which is so funny because, which I love this about, like, girl friendships is, like, you don't have to do this whole, like, dance around. Yeah. Like, can we say that we like each other?
Right.
And I think even, like, as you've grown up and you're, like, mature and you're, like, vulnerable, it's like,
vulnerable.
Let's just
that's it.
jump in.
Yeah.
Let's just jump in. And
Why
that's
are
what we
so
did.
Scared?
It goes back to, like, the playground probably, you know, like elementary school. Like, if I tell this girl that I want to be her friend, what if she tells me she doesn't want to be my friend? And that stuff would happen on the playground.
No, seriously.
It's like, no, don't sit with me.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, but I wanted to.
Right.
But it was so fun that, like, literally I told Danielle that I loved her on our first date. Yeah. I think I did. I said it.
Did
I say
at the
it?
end of the night.
I kind of was like, I don't know if I should have said that.
But it was just
I felt it.
Yeah, I was
felt
just like, I love you too, dude. Like, I just felt like our
She didn't call me dude. She called me baby girl.
Oh my God, you're so stupid. I like to play around with her. Like, I'm like this player. Like, I still got it in me.
Yeah,
she does. You know,
she gives me the player, and I like it.
Michaela's like, why are you trying to play me? I was like, it's funny because Michael says I'm a player, but I'm not. I just
she just says player things.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he enjoys it as much as I do. So keep on playing.
Keep on playing. But I just think there's so much beauty and, like, finding your soulmate in a friendship. Yeah. And I think that's real, and I think it's necessary because for me, to be honest, I felt as if, like, I needed to, like, as I grow older, like you said, kind of find your person, because we seek for a person in a mate, like a companion, as far as, like, you know, a male and you know, your partner who you're trying to marry. But how often do we try to look for a soulmate in a friendship?
Yeah.
You know, like, how often do we do that?
Yeah.
Because it's necessary to try to find maybe not someone similar, whatever your needs are. For me, it was like someone that could take care of, like, the feelings that I have, because I'm a feeler.
That's okay. We love it.
I'm a feeler.
We love feelers.
And someone that can take care of that, where they don't make me feel like I'm less than, they don't judge me, but somewhere where I feel seen with someone, but also someone that can, like, tell me about myself, you know?
Yeah. I just try to sprinkle that, like, the tell you about yourself.
Yeah.
With, like, a lot of, like,
love.
Yeah.
You do a really good job.
Oh, thank you.
You do. 'Cause you're
I
like
try.
this
It's growth. It's growth.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I want to help you.
Yeah.
But then I also want you to feel like you can express, like, this is how I'm feeling. And I also don't have to fix you.
Yeah.
Because you don't need fixing.
Right.
It's just like, oh, like,
there's just
this could be, yeah.
And
we
there's
could talk
something
about
I do want to, like, talk about the playground. Okay, so yeah, I wanted to touch on this because I think that is a very prominent time in many females' lives that they don't discuss. And you kind of know, like, the roots of that. But for me, like, I kind of grew up in a space being, like, the only Black girl in the room. Elementary, junior high, high school, just the only Black person. So I was kind of used to that norm. But I think for elementary and junior high, I felt like there was always these groups of girls that were popular, and they just had it. You know what I mean? Like, people would just flock to them.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to be a part of the cool crowd because I'm like, I'm cool.
Right.
You know? And I would be around them. And yes, they would accept me. But I always felt like the oddball, not because of my race, but it was as if like they would just always put on this like facade to be my friend because they felt bad. And I felt that.
I wonder what was like, I don't know. This is like asking like what they felt. Why would they have felt bad, I guess? Yeah.
And so, I don't know, my perspective, I was kind of overweight too, you know. In the areas that I grew up in back then, you know, size 2 was like, you were it. Yeah.
Or
like
a 0? A double 0?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know her.
And and I've never experienced her.
Yeah. Who is
and
she?
Like thick wasn't in just yet.
Right.
So I think around, elementary and junior high, that was when you would go to the doctor and like they would say you're overweight. Yeah. But you were probably at a really good size.
You're obese.
Yeah, you're obese. And you're like, I'm not obese. I'm just, you know, where I'm at.
Right.
And so I think like the fear of trying to fit into the image of looking like them, talking like them, having the hair like them.
Yeah.
And so, like, to grow up in that, there was always, like, this need of wanting to be liked, of wanting to be seen.
Yeah.
And so, I didn't realize how much that, like, stuck on me until my adulthood.
Yeah.
And, I mean, by high school, you're like, okay, I'm a cheerleader. Like, I'm cool. Like, people know me,
You've
whatever.
done the things to get the cool status.
Basically. Yeah. And so, but there was always still, like, this... I'm willing to do whatever I need to do to be a part of this crowd.
Right.
And so it was always a bunch of like chasing. And so once I got to high school or senior year of high school, then I said, you know what? I'm no longer chasing. I'm just it. So I would just like, it was just like something I would mentally tell myself. I'm just like, I'm it.
She is it.
I'm here.
Yeah.
And I'm no longer chasing you. And then, then I found my core group of friends and like, it was great. And we went through our ups and downs like any friendships would. But yeah, I do think as I get older, there's sometimes a fear of like, I don't want to be forgotten. So I will do whatever I need to do to pour into this friendship. And it doesn't
with the
matter.
friend.
With the friend.
It doesn't matter if it's like bleeding and
I will do
losing oxygen.
I need to do to save it. Now, if this person's like talking bad about me,
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But like,
if the friendship though like has lost its value,
right,
what it added to your life at one point, like you'll continue to pour into it to just like keep the thing alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is like my side of the playground. I mean, as a mixed individual, a biracial, like I have been able to like code switch. So like, you know, where like, I don't know, where you necessarily didn't feel ostracized because of your race. Like, I think that probably was a factor of like you being the only African-American student, like amongst a bunch of Caucasian students. Yeah. And I think for myself, because I was able to code switch and like be both, I like found my way into the cool girl group. But I found myself like comparing, like, you know, I couldn't fit a size 00. Like, you know, I could barely fit a 3. Yeah. But yeah, it was just like a lot of that playground mindset, which is really sad because we see the same things in adulthood.
Yes.
The playground is still there.
The playground is
that
still there.
That is called the workplace.
Wow.
And people are still bringing the same attitudes and the same like drama. Mean girl status. Yes. Yeah. And it's just like, what are we doing here?
You know what I mean? And I think like if you start to like notice that, like you said, I love how we're playing off this like playground like perspective, because I think that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
and it carries with us like as women. And like you said, when you start to see it and hear it, and you're like, this environment reminds me
of high school,
yeah, of elementary school, and I am not well, like I'm not mentally well because I've worked so hard to get out of that space, and now like this environment is trying to bring me back in.
And I think even like with the social drinking setting, I think that is honestly what is so repulsive for me, is that I don't know, for myself, it's like when I see like this in the social drinking setting, it just seems as if like as a person who will literally just be sitting in the room so sober drinking my seltzer water.
Michaela doesn't drink.
But it's like sitting in those settings though, like you see people like backbiting and like talking crap about each other and like you know, they say, you know, like you get a few drinks in me and like we're actually all going to start telling the truth. And for me, I'm like, that's who I used to be. And you didn't have to put a few drinks in me. I was just going to be mean because I was, you know, trying to fit into these groups, and to be a part of those groups was to be mean. So then to like now find that in like a social like setting is like, what are we doing here? We're saying mean stuff about each other. Like that's just, is that right? And I'm like, I'm above it. I am above it. And I'm like, I don't need to do that. And like with our friendship, it's like, we don't need to fake the funk here. We don't have to pretend or try to be anything that we're not. Is like, let's just be for real. Like, I love you. And that's what I'm feeling in my heart right now. And is like, you know, even though distance came to our relationship super fast, it was like, you know, I'm letting you know that like, for me, it's loyalty. Like once I've said that I'm going to be loyal to this thing and I'm going to show up and I'm going to be present, like that is what I'm going to do. Like that's it. Once you have me in your corner, like I'm in your corner. I'm going to fight for you.
Oh my gosh. Thank you.
Really, but I think even you were talking about this with like friendships, but with vulnerability, like something about like being vulnerable with each other and like getting past, I don't know, just those things that girls on the playground, I don't know, it's just like we don't have to do that anymore. And I think as women, if we could start cheering each other on and getting behind each other's like backs and rallying for each other and stop trying to tear each other down and like, I don't know, think poorly or feel like I have to sabotage you in some way so that I can go higher than you or like steal your man or any of that stuff. It's just like, girl, we don't have to live like that anymore.
Like, oh my gosh. Okay. So like really quick, because there's a lot of things I do want to like kind of go down, but like the whole goal of this like YouTube channel is like, you talk about the 3 C's, and for me it's like the 3 E's. So I want to like educate, entertain, and also empower people to become the better versions of themselves. And so I just think first, it's so important to have these types of conversations. And I think I told you that like I was so nervous starting this because it's requiring me to expose a lot of the things where, you know, I kind of grew up like a closed book. It's like I said, like I am open, but like you don't realize how closed you are until you start talking about like the skeleton.
Like, I haven't talked about that.
This is weird. So I just also appreciate how, like even earlier you said like I'm going to dedicate and commit my time to friendships that matter. And I do think that I had to learn that what's important to me, I'm going to definitely take it seriously and like give it attention. And so in the very beginning, I think I did communicate to you that like I'm not a good, like not listener, but like I can't remember things. And then we got to the root of that because I have so many other things in my mind. And so like when it came down to like the simplicity of you, like me knowing you like coffee, I was like, I'm going to show her that like I'm committed into this friendship because it matters. And so I think sometimes not being afraid to show that you care is okay.
It's okay. And it's just like risking, I think it's okay to risk rejection. And I think that that's like what we're all super afraid of is just like, I don't want to say this and then you reject me. But sometimes like the things that reject us just teach us to like find something else, you know, like that's just the truth of the matter. And you was like, I guess if you reject me, like, you know, this is that. And that's
I learned
okay.
something from it.
Right. But you're met with something so much more beautiful when you do risk rejection and you choose to like still wear your heart on your sleeve.
Yeah.
And you're like, here I am. But of course, it's like wear your heart on your sleeve with people that are trusted. Like,
right. And that are.
We didn't get this relationship years earlier.
We didn't.
And we were in the same city.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 3
years.
Not everyone. And I think that that's the beauty of the soulmate. Mm-hmm. And I think that even like with your spouse, like with your partner, with your person, like, I don't know. It's not every day that you meet your soulmate. You could go on so many dates and I can't even think of all the dating apps. I'm like Hinge, Tinder, I don't know. You could go on all the dates though, you know, and like not every conversation is going to be like your soulmate. Like not every conversation, if you just decided like I'm going to show up with vulnerability, is this going to like be a match?
Right, exactly.
So like things are just God appointed. And
I agree.
I think when you do though, try to show up in your everyday life with like the vulnerability and like with who you are for real, like then when you do meet someone who is your soulmate, it's like, oh wow, I know how to do this. And I've been waiting to like give to a friendship the way that I've wanted to give to it, but like I haven't had the opportunity.
Yeah. And so it's so interesting because the way that God has been working in my life. Earlier you mentioned like I prayed for a friendship like this, and I did too. And so I told you like the recent friendships, like the newest ones I've had, like they've really like have been so God driven. It's so crazy because it's like being reminded that like God still hears my prayers. And I think that's probably the most like beautiful thing. So it's like if you feel as if like God is not hearing you or it's too late or I'm never gonna have that, like that is the devil speaking to you, because I promise you like everything you want, like God will bring it to you.
Amen. I completely agree.
So
no, I absolutely agree. It's just like you have to, I think it's just a matter of praying about it. Like, and even like back in the day, you know, when you had friendships, like you would have these bad friendships and then like you'd be like, you know, or at least this was my conversation with the Lord of just like Lord, if they're not my like good friends, like you know, like maybe remove them from my life. But like really not wanting him to remove them and really not wanting him to like show me their character and like show me the truth about the situation. And I think like I've learned in growing like as a person in my 27 years of life of just like, oh wow, like maybe if I actually started like praying for things, for God to bring things into my life and then like still including him in the process of it. So like with our friendship, it's like, oh, I like prayed for a good friend and now I'm still having this conversation with him. Oftentimes we like pray for something to come. It could even be the wrong thing. And then we like completely stop praying about it. Like whether it's a friendship or a relationship or whatever, we're like, no, this is like just between us two. So like, we're going to figure this out. And then like God is separate. But it's like the moment that we can like learn to
bring him in.
And he is
and like
a part of it.
Wow.
And I just think that that's where it's like the beauty of like, we're going to grow old together. We have no choice.
We have no choice.
Because the Lord is our foundation. Like, you know, like.
Seriously. And I think, oh my gosh, that is when I knew, when we had that deep discussion about just, when you told me about how you said, I didn't know who I was listening to. I've been listening to the devil for a while versus like knowing the voice of God. And when you said that, I felt so exposed and seen because again, feeling as if I've been walking on this journey that no one understands. And sometimes I would even explain it to Michael, like I would have these deep thoughts and I don't know how to express them. Because it's like, it scares me to even think about thinking about them and then like thinking about saying them out loud. Because it would make me sound crazy. And you said like, no, like it's okay. I've been there, and like just say it and we will like pray about it. And to have that, I was like, it just made me burst into tears.
I feel like that's when you know you found a soulmate. When like your darkness doesn't scare them. They're like, just show me. Like it can't be that bad.
Yeah, like we're not gonna die.
Right. And then, you say the scary thing and it's like, yeah, like let's pray about it. Let's take it to the Lord in prayer. And just when you expose something to the light, like darkness can no longer hide and the enemy can no longer beat you up in the quiet, shameful corner, So it's just like, let's put light on this.
Yeah.
And I have found so much freedom in just like talking about the things that the enemy has like
trying to.
Yeah, like, like at the end of the day, you're either having a conversation with the Lord or you're having a conversation with the enemy. And if your conversation produces anxiety, fear, is obsessive, is like making you feel bad, you're not talking to God. Like likely you are conversating with the devil.
Yeah.
And that sounds scary.
Yeah.
Like but like you're not conversating with the Lord anymore.
Yeah.
And not that he's not a part of those, like, a part of your life and your thoughts still, but you're entertaining these fearful things, these what ifs, like, and it's causing you and to drive you into a further place of like, I'm scared. Like this is scary, like, and I don't know how to get out of this. And I don't know what's tomorrow. And I don't know. And I'm what if. And I just let the enemy really get me into a corner. And I think that we all have to a certain extent. Yeah. I think it's just a matter of like, are you speaking God's word about it? Do you know what God's word says about it?
Right.
And if you do, then are you now like responding to the devil?
Yeah.
And putting him in his place and making him realize like you have no authority.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, you don't. So like this fear, this worry, this anxiety, like this is not of God. And I don't have to live like this.
I'm like talking like back to it and saying like, no. Like God is not of fear.
Yeah.
Like
God is not giving me a spirit of fear, right?
At all.
But of power and of love and of a sound mind. Just like, no. Like, and it's crazy because I don't know. Honestly, it goes back to also though, like what we've been taught in church. And like we had this conversation is like, we were just taught, I don't know, I guess I can say for myself that like, if you're feeling like scared about it, like it probably means that, I don't know, the Lord is telling you that that's what you need to do. Or like, it was just like this conflation of fear and God and like
people would like
fear the Lord and then also like, you're going to be afraid.
Right.
And it was just like, they're totally different things. Like where you're feeling fearful and like you are scared in a way of like, I'm not just like nervous in an excited way. I'm literally afraid of failing, afraid of the dark, afraid of, like the enemy can get you like into
this dark area.
Pigeonhole corner where you're like, why are you in my life right now? Like, let me just start questioning everything. And
I was in that
like
space
God.
And I think like being okay to say that, yes, I think I was victim of those thoughts of like, not trying, like I just felt like these negative thoughts were taking over me and I felt like it was never going to stop until like have someone come in my life at a very prominent time to say like, hey, I see you. It's okay. Let's talk about it. Yeah. It's very uncomfortable because you don't want to come off like you're crazy to someone. And it's like, I'm here to tell you like you're not crazy. And it's okay because you're not alone.
Right.
And it's okay if you don't want to, tell your partner or your spouse, like, because sometimes again, that is where a female companion can come in and like fill the void of what you really need. Yeah. And so that's what I was going to say earlier about like, I've always desired having female friends that are like very similar to my spouse, but like in girl version. Right. You know what I mean? And so I think it's just so important because you can be as close to your spouse as you want, but they can't really provide everything you need. Yeah. Girls are just like, we're wired differently. Yeah. Like just completely different. Like someone you can vomit your words on and actually listen. Like your spouse will listen to you for sure. Like God bless Michael's heart, but like he listens. Yeah. But there are some things, and I'm not talking about body parts but just there's parts of the soul where you have to expose yourself in a way to a female that can really comfort you in a different way than a male can.
Yeah.
And so I've always desired those types of friendships, and like God has truly blessed me with people, including you, that have like filled my cup in that area. And as you mentioned, just your spirit is so beautiful and pure that like when people come along like you have to take advantage. Like have to. Like I would not, like I would be stupid to be like, all right girl, great dinner, bye. You know, because our pride could like do that and be like, yeah, I'm good. Yeah. Because of previous friendships like has damaged the heart and have made us not try to like start a new friendship, or we've said, you know what, I got my girls from high school, I got my girls from college, I'm good. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And you have to just have an open heart, because you never know like who was placed in your life like for a specific season and reason that you never thought you knew until they show up. Right. And so, yeah, it's so funny because this, one of my good girlfriends, I think I've told you about her, Ray, we met senior year in college. Well, we didn't meet, but we've known each other for a while.
You finally kindled your friendship.
Yeah, we like finally, we knew of each other. Yeah. We dated the same guy. It was very interesting. But we didn't like each other for some odd reason.
I mean, you dated the same guy.
Yeah, you know, and then, like we would just like carry this hatred for whatever. Yeah. And it's like, then later on, fast forward, like my heart, you know, literally said like, invite her to this book club. Okay, sure. Invited her, and like we literally talked one time, and it was like our first date, like kicked off, and it was just like wow. Yeah. Like I feel seen. Yeah. You know? And so just saying all that to say, like, you just have to keep an open heart. And it doesn't matter, like, about the friendships and the damage that have happened beforehand, because you can't go back, but you can go forward. Right. But I do think I'm working on trying to let go of people that you said earlier that, like, no longer like bring you, like, add value to your life. Yeah. You know, like we can be good friends and we can talk occasionally, but like we don't have to be close. Right. And that's okay.
Proximity.
Like that's okay.
I think what's crazy is that life oftentimes pushes people farther away from us and we try to like pull them back in. Yeah. And it's like
it's like nothing, a tug of war.
Right. Yeah. Like nothing about our life is pulling us together. So why am I trying to like go against gravity? Like we're almost like stupid in a way for doing that. Yeah. It's like gravity is literally working and moving things, and we're like, no, like I'm going to hold on to this as long as I can. Like I'll do that for the sake of loyalty. Like just like I'm loyal to you. And I've said that I'm going to be here for you. And like, definitely. I think something that I've lately like been like, wow, at the end of the day, like, yes, I love a friendship, but when a friendship comes to a place where it's like no longer good and you have to, I heard one of my youth kids say this today at church. He was like, you're supposed to always be behind me. Like, you know, like always back up what I'm saying, like to his girl. Yeah. And she's like, no. And I was like, yeah, like, no, she doesn't stand behind you. She stands behind truth. And
that's good.
I think that same concept has to be like in our friendships of like, you know, don't be willing to like die with your friend if they're dying, or like, you know, like it's like the jump off the bridge. Would you jump off the bridge if your friend's jumping off the bridge? And like no.
I don't know about that.
No, like, you know, like maybe would I go die on the cross or like step in front of a bullet? Maybe, you know, but like to do something, no, like at some point you have to have a boundary within yourself of like, if you're not benefiting me, then I have got to let this go. Yeah. And definitely. It's not that I'm not backing you up, and it's not that I'm not supporting you as a friend. It's that I stand behind truth. And if this is not giving that, then like this has got to come to an end. Wow. And I honestly, in college, I was really bad and I would just cut people off. Yeah. I'd be like, what you're going through is a lot for me. And like, I need distance. And I would literally just cut them off. And it was honestly probably the worst thing that I've ever done.
Yeah.
And I regret it now because I realized I just didn't have language to like create space. I didn't know how to like, not even like stay friends with someone, but I guess really like keep a relationship, but just recognize that the proximity is not close.
Right.
And so I would just literally cut them off because I was like, I don't like the way that your life is going and I don't like what you're going through and you are bleeding on me. You know, like your heart and like everything that you're going through, like you're just like always vomiting all your emotions on me. And it's just like all the time. And it's like, I'm exhausted, especially like as a thinker. Like I would say some of these things though to like my feeling friends. Yeah. And it was like, that is really hurtful. Yeah. Now I see that hindsight 2020.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if I could find the language to just be like, I don't know, or just not even, I don't even know if that I needed language. It's just to find space and to like let space create itself and like distance the relationship naturally. Yeah. And like we can still look each other in the eye and like we can still say hello and like not feel any super hard feelings. But sometimes when a relationship just is genuinely toxic, like they're gonna feel some type of way when you're like, I need to back up.
And like just being mindful that friendships are very similar to a relationship.
Oh, for sure.
You know, so you have to communicate like your needs.
Right.
So like, what is it that you need in this season? How can I serve you? Yeah. Instead of like vomiting all these needs and worries about like, well, why haven't you checked up on me? Or why haven't you done this? It's like, what have you done as a friend for this person? Yeah. And like vice versa. Making sure that you are communicating just to this person, whoever you're friends with, that like, this is how I need to be loved. Yeah. Or like when you just had a traumatic day, like I need you to understand like this is my version of serious. Yeah. You know, like you have to communicate.
We needed to communicate that to each other.
Communicate that because I didn't know.
Next time I'll just like
be crying. I'm just kidding.
I can't force the emotion. So I think just like being like, hey, this is serious.
This is serious.
I need you to just pay attention to me. Yeah. And I think that that's hard for me because, I mean, like, you know, my parents, like, you know, what do you tell your parent? Like when they're working and they're like, you're talking to them, like, look at me, like, you know, listen to what I'm saying. But we're friends. So it's like, you know, I should communicate like, hey.
And also, like, give me your attention. Like, grace, you know? Yeah. As we get older, you know, girl, like, we don't got time.
That's true.
That's true. We just don't. Yeah. And I think that there was a time where I was transitioning out of other friendships because we wanted to, again, hold on to this, you know, rope. Yeah. And trying to, like, really, like, convene this strong friendship of, like, we got this, we can do this. But it's like you said, life was just really pushing all of us in like different directions. Yeah. And it's okay.
It's okay.
So, and not feeling bad about it because you just never know what people are going through. Yeah. And that's something that I had to really learn because it's so easy to say, like, why haven't you asked about me? Why this, why that about me? But instead, if you need someone, like if you need a friendship, I've always just learned to say like, hey, how are you? How's everything going with you first? Yeah. You know, before you try to like vomit. Right. But at the same time, you would also have a strong connection with friendship. Like I think we're in a very good space where like we would just know if something's wrong.
Oh yeah.
Like what's wrong?
Like you're not doing well. But that's when you have a soul friend. Your soul friends always know.
That is true.
When you're like not even saying anything. Yeah. And they're like, are you okay? And you're like, no, I'm actually not okay. Yeah. But I'm trying. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I'm telling you guys this, but telling myself, you don't have to be friends with everyone. You don't. I'll never forget, like my sister Bria's mom, like she said to us at a young age, she said, you'll be lucky if you leave this earth having one friend. I used to think she was crazy. I was like, no, I'm gonna have all these friends. Yeah. Like, what do you mean? I never understood what she meant until I got older. Yeah. Very similar to the crackhead that we just very similar to that story we heard earlier.
That made no sense for anybody out there.
Oh my
gosh.
We don't associate with crackheads.
We don't associate.
We do have
no.
a friend who has received knowledge from a crackhead. But that comes at a fee and a membership.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So silly. But yeah, so I just will never forget that. And so
It's true.
it keeps me calm to just know, like, hey girl, if you lose friends, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's
and friends
okay.
are fun. Like, not all relationships have to be this, like, you know,
Long
this.
gone. Yeah.
They don't all have to be this.
Like
and
this
honestly,
stuff.
that would be a lot if they were.
Yeah.
Because it's like, how do you pour into everybody who's this? You know, but there's even seasons for friends that you are really close with.
That's true.
Just like, yeah, like you said, just giving grace for adulthood and for each other, and, you know, risk it all. Tell them that you love them on the first date. It's not my dating advice. Do not do that. In every setting, do not do that.
It's not.
But feel it in your heart.
Yeah.
And when the time is right, you know, say what you got to say.
Definitely.
Say how you feel. So.
I appreciate you being on this first friendship vlog.
Yeah, no
That's
problem.
Awesome.
Our
you
friendship
feel?
is new, but I feel
Yeah.
like we've got years.
Of experience.
Yeah, in such an interesting way.
Yeah.
Like, just in days, we've experienced years.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful unto the Lord for that.
I'm grateful for you.
She's going to give me the world.
Oh my gosh. Don't tell anyone. I'm just kidding. Okay. So that is it, you guys. That's all of the friendship advice that we have for you today. Yes. We're not specialists or, you know, professionals.
Not experts in the area of friendship.
At all. But we just say follow your heart.
Yeah.
All right, that's it.